Hello, welcome back to the PoddiMouths podcast. I am Peyton Cubic, and this is where my dad and his friend John talk about random stuff in life or the things they found on the internet. I hope you enjoy listening to this episode as much as I did. Here they are now.
Like 5, 4.
Well, I can turn it back on if you really want me to.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah. John and I were having a really good conversation. We're like, we should be talking about this on the podcast.
Excuse me. Yes.
Well, we're gonna alienate some of our listeners, though. I'm sure.
I don't think
we're gonna
we
really
are.
excite some of our other ones.
I don't think we're going to alienate anybody. Remember, this is America.
It is America. Yeah, America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's funny because it is a topic, and I'll be perfectly frank. And my name is Nick, so being perfectly frank is a little bit hard.
Yeah,
for
that's
me
a
to
stretch
do,
for you.
But I do know quite a few conservatives that share my opinion. I also know quite a few liberals that share my opinion on this particular topic that we're skirting for the time being. We're just trying to build anticipation. But
that goes well on PoddiMouths.
It does. It does. It
goes
very well.
Maybe it'll get better. That's actually we like most of our viewers and listeners to say that through the entire podcast.
Absolutely.
Maybe it'll get better.
Maybe it'll get
Stick around till the end.
For 7 years, that's what people have been saying. But they've stuck around.
Hey, we love our listeners and viewers.
We do love our listeners and viewers.
We've never said that they're the sharpest knives in the drawer. However,
well, wow, what a good segue.
Guess what I have in this drawer right here.
Yeah. That's all you need right there. So John and I were actually discussing everyday carry because he was asking, this is Saturday, and for those of you who have or may have not been watching the weather over the weekend, there are some major storms, some that overnight went through Missouri and wreaked a little havoc there and are supposed to be here in Tennessee. And it's 10 a.m. Central, so it's not too bad. It's just been rainy, a couple thunder booms. That's about it. But we were from there. I don't know how we got onto the topic of everyday carry, but we were discussing everyday carry items. And I think we were talking about I don't remember how we went there, but I made the comment that mine are all
thing that we.
I know.
Hey, good morning. And what do you have for EDC?
Sorry, ED? No, not ED. EDC. EDC.
Oh, no. ED is a different issue.
It's a different conversation.
I try not to carry that with me every day. That's not something I want to have in my pocket. If you know what I mean.
For that, you're right. Yeah. Well, there might be some help that you can have in your pocket.
Fine.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So we were talking EDC, and I said, well, with the move and with trying to get the house ready, I'm not comfortable keeping certain things in the house. So they're actually locked up in the Jeep right now. And I said,
I sure hope you're not talking about Peyton and your lovely wife Jen.
Well, I mean, that's EDC.
We don't want them locked.
No, not at all, not at all. But I was saying, as I sit in the house and I'm sitting here at my desk right now, I realize, oh my goodness, I've got several of my knives that I used to carry every day with me, but they're a little bit big. Sitting here, I'm like, that's really kind of defeats the purpose of hiding all your EDC things. So people that are viewing the house either don't see them or steal them, because that is one of my biggest fears. But I just got. And I have to get it out again now, but John and I were discussing this little guy. I got this little guy here. So anyone who's watching, it's about the size of my thumb. And John's like, oh, you could probably carry that on the airplane. And I said, yes, you can, because it's a small blade and it actually sits in my backpack at all times. Yeah. So it is definitely part of my EDC kit.
Yes.
So so we got on that conversation.
And that's a good conversation. And yes, and of course, not surprisingly, suddenly and YouTube might not like it, so I'll just be careful. But this is, and honestly, seriously, we're in America, so it's not that big a deal. But this is
I think they're getting
EDC
picky about
knives. That. Well, they should be, because we're not saying go out and do something. This is everyday carry, and as a Second Amendment country, we can talk about these. And so it's just a smallish version of what you might carry every day. And this is awesome because I don't know how many times I use this when I have it with me. whether it's cutting up cardboard or whether it's,
Oh yeah.
I mean, there are just so many times if I'm doing something around the house, I'm like, where is my, and then you end up grabbing a utility knife or some crap like that.
Or a steak knife.
Or a steak knife. That's true. Good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why won't this cut anything? I don't know. It's probably because of the cardboard.
It should be used to cutting cardboard by now.
Well, if you have terrible steaks, they're like cardboard anyway. So that's funny.
Yeah. So we went down that rabbit hole, but we were also discussing the caliber of our pew-pews.
Yes.
And with our pew, and we were talking about our subcompact pew-pews, and I couldn't remember the designation for one of them, which I have a 380 and John has the exact same one that's a 9, and
chambered in 9mm, as they would say.
Yes, and it's a very close number. I think you said yours is a 43, which makes mine a 42,
which would make it. Those are both then Glocks, not currently sponsor, but and great guns. Yeah,
they are fantastic. And I got the 42 for my wife because and this is where we picked up on the conversation, like we should be talking about this. She has taken the 9mm, which I have a 9mm, a 19, Gen 3, I think. And we took that out to the range, and she is scarily accurate with that thing.
Wow.
I mean, I'm a pretty damn good shot, and where my pattern is probably this, hers is like this.
Wow, good for her.
Incredible.
Awesome.
So she's very, very good with that, but it does have a bit more recoil than what she likes. So that's why I went with a 380, which she hasn't yet taken to the range.
Yeah.
So
and what you find, and some people, their hit against 380s is they don't have the power that even a 19 has. Certainly not the power that a 40 cal or a 45 or whatever would have. However, depending upon the ammo, that's really the missing part of it. And depending upon what you use it for, I mean, home defense is one thing. And that's usually an entirely different kind of ammo than you would use at the range. Right. Just because it's way more expensive when you get the correct kind and so on.
Right.
Without getting into great detail. But 380, and so much of it is it something you're comfortable enough to use? And that's really the issue, I think, more than anything else. There are so many YouTube videos on with Glocks especially. So let's talk about Glocks.
Yeah.
Glocks have passive safeties. They do not have active safeties.
And scares a lot of people.
It
scared me when I first started with Glock.
Same. And I think it's a respect fear more than anything, or at least it was with me. And understanding the difference is a big part of it. Obviously, nobody ever wants a firearm that you would drop to the ground and it would fire. That's right. And Glocks will not do that.
No, they will not.
And any gun that you have the safety engage is not going to do that typically. So, but it's tough for some people to jump aboard that with a Glock. Yeah. And, why do you do it? Because they're not inexpensive firearms.
They are not.
They are not. And
it's an investment.
Well, it is. And I've had mine for years now. And, the point is, I guess, it's what you're comfortable with and what you can use. And again, heaven forbid you ever need to use anything to protect yourself. But that's one of the reasons you have them. Along with going for the range and sporting and things like that. So
they are fun. They're just plain fun.
But you need to know how to shoot them. And that really is the key with a lot of people. I think there was an old saying that when President Obama was in the White House, he was the #1 gun salesman in the U.S. and be that as it may, I think a whole lot of people jumped into firearm ownership that have never fired their weapons and have never.
That's scary.
It is scary. And that's something that I hope that people will take that, if you haven't, and you are an owner, that you take that as a reminder to get out there, find a range near you, and get out there and ask for a professional. There are guys, ladies who are extraordinarily well trained. Often certified, NRA certified. That seems to be the main badge. And law enforcement and military people who would love to help you learn to fire weapons. So please,
because people that learn and are educated on safety and how to use them tend to be the safest. It's almost like the axiom that if you understand, or if you go and take years and years of some sort of martial arts,
yep.
Are you more likely or less likely to get into a fight?
Well, and I understand that it's a rhetorical question because you already know the answer to it.
Right.
And having studied martial arts for a while, I will tell you that the best thing that most accomplished MMA people and jiu-jitsu people and martial artists in general will do is walk away from fights.
Yes.
And that is when you are successful at not engaging in a fight, is when you're able to walk away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
It's not winning the fight. It's walking away.
It's walking away. So it's not the same, but it's also not much different. If you're trained and you have respect, you're not going to abuse it.
Well said. Yep.
On that note,
wow,
that's the end of the podcast.
See everybody.
It got really serious.
There are going to be some of our listeners who would say, that was my favorite.
Yeah, exactly. It's so short and to the point.
6 minutes. And you know what? I made it 5 minutes before I got sick of it.
Yeah. I will say, one thing I mentioned, Jen hasn't fired the 380 at the 20 or the 40, the 42.
Yeah.
But I have. And the one thing that because she's held it. And she's dry fired it. And that's another part of what John was talking about. Dry fire it doesn't replace it, but there are some really neat dry fire tools that you can get. And that's another way for you to just practice holding it, practice squeezing the trigger, all of those things. I have dry fire here. So we do that every once in a while because let's face it, here in Nashville, ranges ain't cheap.
Yeah.
It's not like when I lived in Minnesota, I could go to my dad's farm and just, practice all I wanted, just depending on the ammo, the amount of ammo I had. But so ranges here ain't cheap.
Yeah.
So that said, that's the final cap I wanted to put on that. Before moving on to John, what are we moving on to? I would say something about tearing apart your Jeep.
Did you? Okay. And so this is no pressure because you've been kind enough to say, well, tell them about MotorHead Chef. And so as dumb as that YouTube channel sounds, it has been kind of fun because I will dive into some stuff that normally I wouldn't do. It's also kind of a hassle because you need to have some videos up and you go, oh crap. Now what am I, and so, well, here's a video of me raking. So yeah, that's pretty stupid. But this one I was kind of excited about because, I know what air intake can do for an engine, and the Jeeps are, as I've learned, notorious for having kind of crappy air intake systems. Sorry, Jeep and Stellantis.
You're not sorry. They're not sorry.
Sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah.
And some of the videos I watched showed just how weird the piping is, and it's like sound deadening or whatever the heck they're trying to do. I'm not sure, but it restricts the flow of air. So you know what? A relatively inexpensive thing you can do is put in a new air system, air intake system, and so that's what I did. I was scared because seriously, I'm not a mechanic. And the last thing I want to do is get in there and mess something up.
End up having to take it to a mechanic.
I need a wrecker to take it because it wouldn't start or something like that.
Yeah.
And you hear horror stories, and in the instructions, it's saying to make sure you unhook the negative post of the battery before you get started. And I'm going, that has a lot of ramifications these days.
Yeah.
Because you are now, you have your stereo system and everything that
every computerized thing,
everything.
Yeah.
And it will negate anything you've saved, and you hook it back up and it may not work.
Yeah.
Because it thinks it's being stolen or something like that.
imagine how I feel. I've got a regular battery that I would have to disconnect, and then I got this honking battery in the back that has to be disconnected. I don't know if I've ever told you this. I'm sure a lot of other people know this already, but the 4xEs don't have an alternator. The batteries talk back and forth, and that's how they. Yeah. It's weird.
Well, and by that. By the same token, you don't really need an air intake system either.
No,
because your air fuel mixture is actually pretty damn good.
Yeah,
So that's.
But it does have an air filter, air intake, folks.
Yeah, but it's just, it's not. It's like a straw.
No. It's like a straw. Well, there's no sound deadening because I trust me. The engine, the little four-cylinder turbo, sounds like a diesel motor when it starts up.
Does it?
until it's super warm. Yeah, it sounds. I mean, it is the loudest motor I've ever. And that is common. I looked it up. I'm like, is there something wrong with my motor when I first got it?
Yeah.
And no, that's a 4xE thing. The engines are extremely loud.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. But then when you're on electric only, of course, they're extremely quiet.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess they need to balance it out somewhere.
It's a payoff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're just trading one for the other. So I will say that this one is now with the new air filter system or the air intake setup probably louder than yours. Under acceleration,
but in a good way.
In a good way. And when it just takes me back to here we are dating the dating game. I had my parents' 1969 Buick LeSabre.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a sweet ride, actually, in hindsight. 4-door, nothing special. And you pretty much had to take it around the block to turn it around. It was so big. But to make it, and it was relatively fast for a car back then, a car that weighed 4 tons or whatever the hell it was. But the trick back then was you would take the air cleaner cover and flip it over and then re-screw it on, and you would get more intake from underneath where the cover was on the air cleaner itself.
Gotcha.
And so you would accelerate and it would go, whoa, like that, sucking air in to the carburetor. And so that was fine. It wasn't that easy on the Buick. In fact, I had to take the air cleaner cover because the post. Oh, thunder. Nice.
Thunder. Yeah, we got some storms coming.
That was good. The post wasn't long enough, so I had to hammer down the center of it so it would fit on the post and you could put the wing nut on. Anyway, this is very much like that. It sounds a lot like it.
Really?
When you accelerate hard, it's like, oh, it's just sucking the air in and you can hear it through the filter.
Nice.
So it's kind of fun.
Nice. So
Lisa was rolling her eyes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Surprise.
Not that Lisa individually, that's just kind of a wife thing.
Yes. Oh, no question.
Yeah. It's not that they don't support us. It's just, I every time the Jeep comes to my lips, anything about it, I get the eye roll. I get that from my daughter too. And my daughter is a Jeep. She wants a Jeep so bad, but she still rolls her eyes.
I think that's a good thing. That's something that they have. I think over many generations that has been brought in.
Yeah. I think that you would have a very bad marriage if you didn't have that.
I concur. And you'd spend way more on your Jeep than you should.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Someone needs to curb that shit. Anyway, so what else do you have planned? And what's the next Motorhead Chef episode?
Well, the episode I can't tell you, of course. You'll have to go look.
Sure.
I did one I think I saved that one already. It's I did a Walk for Life thing.
Fun
fundraising deal. So yeah, it was a little boring, and it's about 3 minutes out of your life. So if you're interested, go watch it. But yeah, I'm just trying to keep it. So there are some new things. Did another Braunschweiger sandwich.
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh, with real Limburger cheese from Wisconsin.
Oh, so that had to smell.
Oh boy, yeah. But I double wrapped it out in the garage fridge, so not to be an idiot. And and when I was done with the trash went out to the bin. I didn't leave it anywhere near the house, and within 2 days it was gone because I was eating the crap out of them.
Nice.
They were So good. Anyway, yeah. So thank you. That's Motorhead Chef on YouTube. Yee-hoo!
I think we should take some suggestions from our watchers and listeners on different episodes that John should shoot, because you go back and forth between Motorhead and Chef. So, what I think one suggestion, since we talked about it earlier, I think you should do something on at the range. Channel a little Collian Noir, and do some range work. I love him too. He's great. And then maybe some.
Okay.
Oh, can't think of. I had it. It was on the tip of my tongue. I'll think of it when I'm not trying to think of it.
Like a yoga studio. I should hang out there for a while.
Absolutely. I think studio? That would be men's only. Hot yoga.
I think equal. Wow. Ick. It sounds like you've been planning that for yourself.
No, thanks.
That sounds like something you would want to do.
Well, yesterday, if you would have been up in my office, it would have been like hot yoga. Okay. I think I've discussed before. We're on 3 different levels, and one air conditioning unit is for 2 levels. The second floor where all the bedrooms are, and then my office. And I have a little puck here, little Google puck. That, you sure do. That's a little temperature sensor, but I had it assigned to the bedroom one, and I had set that at 72.
Okay.
So when it's 72 on that floor, it's about 85 up here.
Woo!
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. So it was a little bit of a hot box, and it was the first day I had decided to work from home and not from the office.
Were you wearing yoga pants?
I was not. I don't have yoga pants.
Whatever.
I don't.
Everybody
should
knows.
Get some. Everyone should have some. You're right, John. I'm glad you said it. No, folks, not everyone should have it.
Yeah, that just makes me a little sick to my stomach. I'm sorry. We're going to have to move along.
You it's bad when your wife, who does wear yoga pants every day because it's her job, it is sitting somewhere with you, and you see someone who shouldn't be wearing yoga pants wearing yoga pants, and your wife looks at you and goes,
"Yeah." Well, the good part is we already know. I mean, I don't know. You see it from time to time. It's not just the yoga pants; it's what's under that you can clearly see outlines.
Oh yeah.
And I, long ago, let's just say, I made that clear to my lovely wife, and she has been grateful ever since. And I'm talking about 20 years ago, or so, 15 or 20. No, probably 20 plus. And did her a favor and said, we don't wear those underneath. Here, try this. I'm not sure how, if she knew how I became such an expert, but clearly.
Well, let's not ask that.
Clearly, no. Clearly, I had some training. So, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
And airports. I know you know this.
Oh, God.
That's another place you see so many people wearing yoga pants. And look, I get they're comfy. The other problem
are they though?
is,
they don't look comfortable. I'm sorry, they just do not look comfortable.
I guess it depends who's wearing.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
But pajamas and
those are comfortable.
And
those
pajamas
are comfortable.
And slippers.
Yeah, no. What happened to the? What? No, I'm not saying. I'm not condoning that at the airport. I'm just saying they are comfortable. I like wearing my pajamas. I was wearing my pajamas up until I came up here, but not out in public.
Not at the airport.
Even Peyton. Well, kids wear them to school.
I know.
Every day. And even Peyton's like, that's crazy. And that girl's addicted to pajamas.
Comfy is one thing, but at some point you have to have some sort of something that drives you,
Yeah.
Like at work. Okay, look, casual Fridays, fine. That got to be a thing for a while.
Yeah.
But you and I, in our professional lives, kind of landed on a place where we mirrored our clients, right?
Yes.
Remember? And so it was
at a point. We're going to have to break that apart a little bit,
that can be. And that's, years ago, it was a suit. And
it was
suits and ties and not inexpensive either, because that was kind of the MO.
Yeah, it was business. A thing, right?
But as we got to meet with the higher end clientele, wealthier,
Yeah.
they had a way of dressing, and we sort of mirrored that, and it turned into nice jeans, jacket, and a sport coat and an open collar shirt.
Yeah, I still haven't done the jeans thing. You were braver than I when it comes to that sort of thing.
I'm not scared. Nice jeans. I like dark wash. And
yeah, no, I agree with you.
I think dealers typically but our clients, dealers, often would wear that.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And like I said, I'm still afraid of wearing jeans in a dealership. I haven't. The only time I've done that is when I'm going to a off-brand to get certain things fixed on a car that needs to get fixed a lot. Jeep.
We won't say any.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't start with a J and end with an E at all, ever. Anyway, but I agree with you. But the point, to your point about jeans and things, though, now it's to a point where we're at a different level. So when I go in, I was in a store last week. Now I don't regularly, with my new job, I don't regularly go to stores. There's really no reason for me to. But this was a special case, and my my manager and I decided to go into this dealership. No one there. Everyone was dressed in a polo, and there were a few pairs of jeans and a couple people. No one was wearing shorts yet because it wasn't hot enough, but you could tell that they would be if they could. And they're wearing tennis shoes, and that's just how a lot of dealers dress nowadays.
Many, but not all.
Not all, but a lot. A lot more, and it's getting more and more. I still went in with everything but a tie. I was still wearing almost, I wouldn't even say it was a suit because it wasn't matching. But it was a pair of suit pants, and it was a jacket, and it was a button-down shirt. That is what I will wear into a dealer probably for as long as I can think. I shouldn't say that. I pick up my my demo from the same dealer, and I probably will go in jeans and a t-shirt when I go pick it up. But that's a different story.
It is, as you should.
Yeah, because it'll be the weekend when I go get it.
And I think they appreciate that too, because it identifies you as a customer, as a
customer,
client.
And not as a exactly.
Absolutely. Cool.
Yeah,
so I get that, and let's face it, you err on the side of that as opposed to if you're not sure. And I know a dealer group that they've always been at very least shirt and tie.
Yes,
and slacks.
One of the ones that I worked for. If you were a manager, a management or above, anything manager, low level management. As soon as you have manager in your title, shirt and tie.
These are
every day.
These are salespeople and up. Yeah,
no,
sales consultant.
I'm
talking about.
I got you. Picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, actually,
you've never worked for this guy. Come on, John. I know.
Yes, but service advisors too.
Yeah,
suit, shirt, and tie, and slacks, not jeans. And if you're a vendor, and this is for everybody, whether you're in the car business or not, when you're calling on a customer, when you're calling on a client or a potential client, you got to do your research. You need to know what they expect, because that will, in the one I'm talking about, that will get you nowhere if you do not at least come up to that standard.
And also listen, because there were instances, I never experienced it, but I have very close friends who did, who walked into a dealer, our clients, remember, walked into a dealer wearing a shirt, and we weren't wearing ties very long in that business, but shirt and a jacket and pretty much a whole suit minus the tie. And the DP said, next time you come, you do not wear that shit in this place.
Wow.
You wear a polo and you wear slacks.
Oh,
that's it. Yeah.
I've gotten that. I mean, you can work your way out of that too, though. That's usually a laugh it off and say, hey, the last thing I want to do is come in underdressed. Overdressed, I can fix. At least then you can.
Sure.
Deal with that. But the other way around, many of them wouldn't even tell you. They just won't do business with you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
But the biggest change, though, to that point is office attire. So when I go into the office, now the very first few days that I worked there, I was wearing slacks and a nice shirt, but no one in my office does that.
Okay.
I think, unless there's like an important meeting, you'll see people dressed up, but it's not an expectation for the whole office. So I could technically wear jeans every day. Now, I have very rarely seen anyone just walk in with jeans and a t-shirt. No one wears ripped jeans. I mean, there's a standard. You still look nice. As to your point, nice jeans, a nice shirt, professional. But yeah, I mean, I wear tennis shoes almost every day.
Yeah.
But that's just because my feet hurt. So that's a whole other.
Wow.
Yeah. Even I have some really nice Cole Haans,
Yes.
And even my Cole Haans hurt my feet.
Really?
Or I should say my one foot. Yeah, I have a bad foot, bad toe. We've talked about that on the podcast.
We have, and I know people, especially our foot fetish people, really love when we talk about
that's for our
that.
OnlyFans account. We'll save that content for later.
I'll let you handle that part of the business.
You've got MotorHead Chef. I've got our OnlyFans channel.
You have our OnlyFans foot fetish. Gag me with a foot fetish.
Potty foots. That's what it's called. Look it up. Potty foots.
Icky. Yes. Well, then you need to get that fixed. We could do surgery.
I don't want to get it fixed. I have talked to a couple of people that have had that fixed, and it makes it worse.
You did mention I
can still move around. I can still walk. It doesn't. I don't have a limp or anything. It's just painful once in a while.
How's your kicking? Like your place kicking? Is it pretty good?
That's probably what caused it.
Okay.
So my next thing, and I think they're Ultras or not Alta, because Alta is the makeup place. I think they're Ultras. Yes. They have a big box at the end, shoe, so your toes can spread out. And I'm gonna look at those because my foot doesn't bother me when I don't wear shoes.
There's like a box at the end of the shoe.
It's called a box.
Oh, okay. It's not like
come on.
It's not like a box.
The end of your shoe where your toes are. It's the box.
Wow, that Nick. He's really fashion forward. It's got a box at the end.
He's got a box, and it's
so it's some
kind of like Justin Timberlake's box.
Yeah. Oh no, different. Yeah. Do not ever wrap a present like that.
No, don't.
Unless you're home alone,
or you're on
your
SNL.
Wife. Yeah. Or you're on SNL. So, in other words, they just have more space at the ends.
Yep.
And okay, well, if that would help, I
think it will. But that's one of the reasons I wear tennis shoes all the time, because they are a little bit
wider.
A little bit wider.
If you get wider, like an E or something like that, does that
my foot is very narrow, so I start to it's weird.
You almost need to mix them up.
Yes,
you need a D on one and then an E on the other, or a
something
C
like that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm a mess, man. I'm a mess. That's all there is to it.
I think people just get used to seeing your fabulous countenance here on PoddiMouths when they watch.
What, incontinence? I'm not incontinent.
Sure you're not. Stick around.
Not yet anyway. Yeah, exactly. A couple more years.
Then you'll definitely. No, I think people just get used to seeing how fabulous you are, and they're not used to
I know.
He's not perfect. He's not perfect.
I'm a specimen. Yeah.
You are a specimen. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, me too.
That sounds like Tim Pool. I like when he says that. We're going to leave it at that. And he moves on to something else. He's one of the few younger guys. Yeah, I think he's almost 40, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, so old.
Well, I'm just saying, younger guys like yourself that I can listen to and appreciate where he's coming from, because he's kind of pretty much a common sense guy. But man, he's well read and has lots of opinions.
Yeah, unlike me.
You are well read and you're the same.
No. Other way. I was going to say other way around. I have no opinions, and I have a lot of opinions, and I'm not well read.
Yes, you are.
You almost confused me. Did you see the power almost go out there?
I did see it almost go out.
Yeah. We're just kind of waiting.
Do you have a generator? Did we talk?
No,
I know we talked.
We don't have a generator.
Before. Why not?
Because they're expensive.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Mainly because of that. They're expensive. And we actually don't really have any room for anything right now.
No, probably not.
I will say.
And so give us the update.
Probably. Oh, well, I will.
Okay.
I will probably at the next house, depending on what it is. If it's a condo, probably not. But if we get another house, I will probably get a generator. Because some of the ones.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, some of the houses we're actually looking at are out in the country. So
yeah, well, that's what I was asking about. Was the 3-acre one, right?
3-acre.
Wasn't there a house with some property?
We did.
Wasn't it 3 acres?
I'm
not making that up.
No, you're not making that up. I know we talked about something about that, but I don't remember. I think that was land. There's a 3-acre plot of land.
Yeah, but there was a house on it.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Have you been drinking?
Remember. Not enough. There are two that we are interested in. Both of them have, one of them has a little over an acre, maybe an acre and a half, and the other one has just under an acre. It's like 0.9.
Okay. But do they both have houses on them?
Yes, they both have houses on them.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe
they're a little bit older. One of them is a little bit smaller. The smaller one would be something we would do our original plan. We would eventually probably rent it out. The one that's a little bit bigger is actually not in Peyton School District, which is that's the bummer. Yeah. But that doesn't matter because in Tennessee we can pay to have her go to the school she wants to.
Is it ridiculous?
No, it's not ridiculous. It's still less than private school.
Okay. That's good.
But that one is, Jen even said, if we were to live there, needs a lot of work, but it would be somewhere where she'd want to stay for a longer period of time.
Okay.
So I don't really know. I'm not 100% convinced because if I'm going to do that, I want more land.
But as you're learning, as you're learning though, anything you can do to avoid moving.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing.
Well, and the thing with that one is it doesn't have a garage. I could put a garage in.
Sure.
But I couldn't do that right away. And I don't like not having a garage. But I
Work
do.
Into the price.
You could. Yeah, well, it's not a very expensive. That's why it's out of the school district. Well, it's not in Davidson County anymore.
No, but I mean, you could work a garage build into the price of the transaction.
You could, technically, I guess.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And then it would be worked into your mortgage payment.
Yeah. The other one, though, that is actually in Peyton School District is very, very cute. It's actually remodeled. Best part is it has a basement. And it has a garage. I don't know what the shape of the garage is in because they never showed it in the pictures. We have to drive by it. But I do like I said, and that it's a separate garage, so it could probably be expanded on. And that's on a little bit more than an acre. And then everything else we're looking at, there were a couple other houses we looked at because just for fun, I went and looked at Franklin just to see if there were any houses in our price range. And there are a few, and a couple of them are very cute.
Cool.
One of them actually had a pool, and that kind of excited me. Jen didn't really like that one.
Oh gosh.
I just
pool that you could.
I don't want to put a pool in. Let's put it that
way. I would be aboard for that. You're right. But as much as I love having the pool, and no kidding, I was giddy about when we were finally able to figure out, awesome, we can swing it with the pool, before it cost an extra $100,000, which was awesome. But if we only we were only able to use it for 6 months or 7 or whatever the number is, it's just less attractive because then it's covering and, but maybe I say that maybe it's not that bad. I don't know.
Well, and maybe this particular one, and I wasn't thinking about it, but this particular one has enough space around it. You could actually enclose it if you wanted to.
That would be,
because it's out in the property far enough away from the house.
That is, and even if, with a cage, you mean?
No, yes, you could. No, but you could actually put a physical building on top of it.
Oh, well.
With windows and
that's a lot.
Stuff like that. You could. I'm just saying you could if you wanted it year round, but we don't necessarily need it year round. I would just use it because that, to me, at least when I was growing up, that was my fitness in the summer. Yeah. Because in the summer, I wasn't playing hockey. I was playing a lot of golf, but I wasn't playing hockey. I wasn't doing sports.
Is it pretty big?
It's big enough to do laps in.
Boy, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And some of the older, I don't know how old it is, but some of the older ones ours isn't big enough, but some of the older ones that we see even around here they're not Olympic size, but they're, half again
fairly big,
as long as ours. Yeah. So you could do laps.
Yeah. Well, you can do laps in yours. They're just really short laps.
They're short laps. And wow, I'm really wiped out after swimming for 8 hours. Yes.
I don't know. And then I don't think we're moving back to Franklin anytime soon, but it would make my commute a lot easier. I'll put it that way.
Is it pretty close to work? Yeah. I imagine.
It would probably, honestly, if looking at traffic in Franklin, it would probably take me almost about the same amount of time. Because I'm only, I think, 13 miles away from the office, but it takes me 35 minutes without a lot of traffic to get to the office. It'll take me about an hour some days with traffic. Yeah, it's nasty, but I don't have a direct route. I have to take all back roads. But any of these houses, I'd have to go through downtown Franklin.
Yep.
And that would probably slow things down quite a bit.
For sure. But at least it's a pretty downtown.
Yes, very true.
So there's
very
that.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Awesome.
There are a lot
Cool.
of options.
Cool.
Of course, there's still the townhomes, and there are plenty of townhomes available around here. It's just, and Peyton House is still available.
Peyton House, yep.
Yeah, so that's still in consideration, but
Awesome.
we're just waiting. So update on this house. We had an open house last Sunday. We're going to have an open house again tomorrow. Last Sunday, which my real estate agent was really excited about, we had 7 groups of people walk through,
Wow.
2 of which were neighbors, so we don't really count them. So
Right.
five actual
nosy neighbors.
Yeah, nosy neighbors.
Yep.
5 actual people considering buying a house. We had 2 groups of people come before the open house, and then we've had 1 group come midweek to look at the house. So we've had a lot of interest, and I get Zillow updates. A lot of people have been seeing it and saving it.
Mm-hmm.
And not one complaint yet about the price.
Okay.
Which scared me, because I think I said when we were talking about it last week, I was scared that we may have overpriced it. Now, since then, my real estate agent, not because of that comment, she doesn't listen to the podcast, damn it.
Maybe she should.
She should. I think she should.
She were smart.
But she sent us comps, which she does every week or so.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm going to pull it up because I think it's really interesting if I can find it. So I look at the price, and she was showing comps, and I was looking at the comps of the houses, and I'm like, that's too bad. We're not really, and we're priced higher than a lot of the comps. There are a couple that were higher, and then you look at the square footage, you look at the lot size, all that stuff. But I can't find it, John. When did she send it? Yesterday? But when I guess I could search for it. When I looked at the price per square foot, and I'm just going to give the average because it is a little bit all over the place.
Sure.
But the average price per square foot for houses that are comparable to ours in our neighborhood, the average is right at around $255 per square foot, $255 per square foot.
Okay.
We have ours priced at $228 per square foot.
Okay.
So that's probably why no one is balking at the price if their real estate agent is right on it. Here we go.
If they want that size house, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, comps. And let me make sure I had those numbers right. My internet's not working. Here we go. So let's
Just
see
another
here.
stormy Saturday. And
Yeah,
Nashville.
average price per square foot is $250.
Okay.
And ours is, I was right, $228.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a house in my neighborhood that just went on the market, and they priced it about $100,000 less than ours.
Oh,
Which that freaked me out
they
until I
counted
looked at
as
the
a
price.
comp?
They counted it as a comp because it's in my neighborhood. It's in my actual. But their price. That's not it. Oh, those are closed sales. Showing. Okay, so yeah, they're right. Theirs is right at $250 per square foot.
So it's smaller.
So the house is smaller.
Substantially
yeah, it's much
smaller.
Substantially smaller.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't count that as a comp. And I understand realtors will do that, but a comp is not just neighborhood. A comp is that's part of it. That's just one consideration, but there are others as well. Clearly, square footage and bedrooms and bathrooms and lot size, and I mean, there's a lot that comes into that.
Yeah. So our acreage is 0.3.
Yep.
So we're on a third of an acre, and the last house that sold in our neighborhood was on 0.2.
Yep.
Which isn't a huge difference, but it's actually substantial.
It's a difference, you bet.
They did do their price per square foot was $215, but the house still it was only $50,000 less. They sold it for $50,000 less than we did. So so still.
Well, you have some to look
at.
It's
a smaller house too.
I don't mind the comps. I don't mind, but people buy something that grabs their attention. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be. I don't know. I think about the houses we bought, and the one we were in for the longest least has ever been in any house in Wisconsin. We looked at it, and she was not a fan. She said, "This, I don't like this." It was kind of at the higher end of what we wanted to spend. and it was very country.
Yeah.
And it was a guy, his wife had passed away, sadly, and so a single guy was there, and he had done nothing. And it was just kind of not special, and it was all blindingly white.
Oh, no.
And so appliances and counters, oh my gosh, everything. And she was just like, no, forget it, no. And it just made such a difference when we sold it. It was because of all the stuff we had done to it that people came in and they, comps meant nothing because they're like, oh, and the guy, and I'll never forget when they came to look at it, my realtor, who's my sister-in-law, said the guy had a seat in the bar on the couch and said, I could get used to this.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. But that's the point, is that's what they fall in love with something they can see themselves in the realty business. And sometimes they forget about that.
Yeah, that's what got us in this house. This house it is not laid out like either of us want or like. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But we walked in through the front door. We could see straight through to the screened-in porch and the backyard, and we're like, "We'll take it."
And that's what sold you.
Yeah,
yeah. I get that. I totally get that, because that's a cool. You don't see that very often. Number one, but it's a really cool feature to be able to, and it opens up the whole house.
Yeah, exactly. So
sweet.
Yeah. So we're hoping. We're just waiting.
But
and
no
like
offers yet.
No offers.
Okay.
One person said it is on their list, but they're at the beginning of their shopping and they don't know. So
talk about the market then in Nashville. Is it? I mean, we've seen this, I think, all over the country.
All over. It's not quite like that here. It has leveled off.
Yep.
People are still getting a premium for their houses. I have not heard of, and I'm just saying heard of, I have not heard of anyone getting into bidding wars anymore.
Right.
But very few houses go for much less than what they're listed for.
And is there's not a shortage? It sounds like of houses on the market.
There's a shortage in specific price ranges.
Okay.
So my price range is very attractive because you can get a lot of house for an inexpensive price. We're a mile away from the Williamson County border, of Williamson County. And there's a neighborhood, it's called Stevens Valley. Beautiful houses. Would never live there because they're way too close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still building, and it's going to be really, really cute. For those of you who are familiar with Franklin, it's very similar to West Haven, if you know Franklin at all. But this is we call another West Haven. So it's a built community, sidewalks. They're going to build a little town center and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
The town center is actually going to be in Davidson County, but the houses are in Williamson County.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it's crazy. Which when you hit Williamson County, folks, doesn't double the price, but it hikes the price quite a bit. So, for example, a lot of those houses are the same size as my house, maybe a little bit bigger, but the cheapest house over there for sale, still under construction, is $1.4 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
For shizzle.
Yeah. And that one is exactly the same size as my house, but the neighbors are much closer and the lots are much smaller.
Okay.
So if that just gives you an idea of, that's why I said Franklin is in Williamson County. And that's why I said, I wonder if we could even afford a house in Franklin now.
Well, and it's interesting. And I don't know if it's different in many other, metro area. We, when we built in Michigan, we essentially started out in one of the most expensive areas, Birmingham, and let's just keep going west until we can afford something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was.
That's
we ended
exactly
up in that area. Yeah. So
Bellevue, where I live, is still fairly inexpensive compared to the rest of the city. Unless you get over to the eastern side, where Antioch, which is right by the airport, but even there, the houses are still fairly pricey, especially compared to when we first moved in. When we first came to Nashville, it'll be 18 years. For Jen, it'll be July. For me, it'll be August. It'll be 18 years. Back then, we were looking at houses which were way out of our price range at that point, though, were maybe $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
That same house is worth $8 now.
Yeah. And
it's crazy.
That transformation has happened everywhere.
Everywhere. Yep.
And it's just, yeah, wow. And there are corrections coming, and nobody ever wants to be on the south side of a correction, but it's going to happen. And we've seen a little of that in Florida, because every time you have a spate of hurricanes, people are like, okay, I'm out. I've had enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really good. Yeah. But still, we're getting more people moving in than just about any other place.
Yeah.
Because they have short memories. And as soon as these people buy these houses, there's one I got to tell you about that kind of blows me away. Our street is busy enough, but we were attracted because of the location in the lot. Like you, ours is a third of an acre. And so we couldn't find anything like that, not in a flood zone. But a mile and a half away, somebody has a double lot, and they have built this, holy crap, 6,000, 7,000 square foot house. 6,000, I'll say. 4-car garage. I mean, it's a big place on a double lot. And so I'm guessing it's at least half an acre. And it's right across the street from a strip mall. And I mean,
I thought you were going to say strip club.
From a strip club.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's a strip club. It's a strip mall, and oddly enough, that's where our church campus is too.
Nice.
But I don't know why you would choose that as a place to build this big house.
Yeah.
They must have gotten a good price, or maybe they bought it online sight unseen, because it's kind of it's a busy street and it's right across from a strip mall.
People do the weirdest things. Let's go back to Peyton House.
Yeah,
the person who owns Peyton House will not get off that price. The lady. Yeah. So let's use, because I already gave you the price per square foot in this general area.
Yeah.
So let's see what that one actually is.
Good. Because she has not budged.
She has not budged, not once.
Apparently, she doesn't need the money.
That's what I'm saying. Let's see what this is. It's on 0.02 acres. That's how small the lot is.
Okay, so less than a quarter.
Less than a quarter. $281 per square foot.
Okay. That's pretty
in a
pricey.
market that's $250 per square foot.
On the average.
On the average.
Well,
Yep.
That's how you get to the average.
Yes. Well, that's what we went off when we made the offer. When we made our initial offer, then we went 10 grand above that.
Yeah.
And she still wouldn't take it. It's like, come on, and her real estate agent, I guess, was extremely frustrated with that but maybe she has to. I've been in that situation too, where I had to have a certain price. There's that, even though that particular house was well below the average. Anyway, the other things, people will do. There's another house in the area. We don't find it very interesting. The lot is phenomenal. The location of the lot sucks. It's right on the main road. So right out of our neighborhood is a road called McCrory, and off of McCrory is Highway 100. Highway 100 is a major road through. Turns into 96, which is another major Middle Tennessee road. But Highway 100, there's a house on Highway 100 right next to a gas station. It's a ranch or a rambler, depending on what part of the country you're from. It is updated, but not great. Crappy driveway, right? I mean, literally, like, it's gas station house. It is it's a huge lot it's got its own pond on it and another structure on the pond.
How big?
Way in the back.
When you say a huge lot, 5 acres.
I think it's 10 acres.
10 acres. Okay.
Maybe it's 5. I don't remember.
Okay.
It's 5 or 10.
Okay.
But they are priced so far above the market, and it's been for sale for well over a year, and they will not budge off that price, just because they're even closer to the Williamson County border. Yeah, they just will not come off that price, and it's like that house, just because it's sitting next to a gas station, is probably worth half of what you think
I
it is.
totally agree. And I think that's a part that people don't take into consideration. And here's the thing. If you're on 5 or 10 acres or whatever the number is, and you're right next to the gas station, I don't could have built it some other, maybe they were there before the gas station. I don't know. But
it may have been because I think the house was built in like 1969 or something.
Okay. So maybe that's the case, but still
maybe
nonetheless. And so are there, do they have no zoning in that area?
I'm sorry, it's 11.3 acres.
Okay. All right.
They've been on the market, and this is not the first time they've been on the market because sometimes they pull them down and put them back up. But this time is 142 days.
Oh, yeah.
They've been on the market. So,
yeah. Well, again, people, if they don't need the money or they're not, people just get stubborn about what they think something's worth. And that's the problem, too, because you have an emotional attachment and you instantly think it's worth more than it really is. We've seen that in the car business. You know, people come in with their vehicles and the last thing you want to say is, oh, that thing is beautiful, because now their anticipated trade value just went through the roof.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's kind of the same thing.
I just sent it to you.
Okay, cool.
So you can look at it.
Maybe you'll buy
it and move down.
No, heck no, I'm not buying it.
You'll
not knowing it's right next to a gas station.
Yeah, you're gonna. Oh, and I was wrong. I was right and wrong about the driveway. The driveway is actually dirt.
Oh, they spent lots of money on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, have a look. And they even show the gas station in the pictures.
Maybe it's there. Maybe that's included.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
Now, the funny thing is, if it were in Williamson County, that would be a deal. They'd probably double the price and try to sell it there. But yeah, it actually would be a deal for the amount of property.
Wow.
It's 11 acres, but I think you could only build on the front part of it. So it's not like you have 11 acres to play with.
Sure. But still, it's land. So
yeah. There's some land that I'm interested in buying, but it's on top of a hill. So the road going up is almost like a vertical.
Lisa and I looked at one in North Carolina, and that's, you look on a map and it doesn't show topography. And when we get there, it's gravel and it's like, how do you even get up there? And really, it was like that. And we drove around and there's some awkward road. Yeah, okay, I can see parking a fifth wheel up there. Oh, a little windy day. Just down at the bottom.
Well, and it's exactly it. And the houses up there are huge and they're gorgeous. But you understand why the land is so cheap.
Oh my
because
gosh.
They're not. Yeah, it's 5 acres. There is a very level plot on the property,
cool.
So you could build easily. But yeah, if you get one good snowstorm, you're stuck up there. Even if you drive a Jeep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make sure you load up and have that generator ready.
That's exactly it. That place would definitely need a generator.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
awesome,
I think we've bored our listeners and viewers.
You know what? It's been kind of fun, and I'm interested to see what you're going to use as our byline for this week, because there were some good ones, I thought.
Well, yeah, I think so too, and we'll see what AI comes up for us.
I could not be happier to have AI give us a little hand. I like boring AI to death too, and they go, I have to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but
they do it the whole time. So Riverside, folks, if you don't know already, which is they're not a sponsor, but we do have an affiliate link with them. So and you can see that on the website.
They have been they have really been. Go ahead.
They have
PoddiMouths.com.
PoddiMouths.com.
They have been just a breath of fresh air for us, and we've been using them for
a couple years,
2 or 3 years now. We're on our third year, and with all the trouble we had in the past. Because we're pioneers. I mean, let's face it.
We are pioneers. Yes. Absolutely. You're right. This tool has been phenomenal for us, and it's just getting better. The nice thing about it is when I'm done with this podcast, it'll load everything. So it uploads from our computers. So that's why the video quality has actually been a lot better.
Yep.
And then it actually gives me keywords. It gives me suggestions for the titles, which I don't use those, but I could. And it gives me the entire, it gives me a synopsis.
Awesome.
then it also gives me the chapters, which I've shown previously. So it makes our lives a lot easier.
It's
And I think
I think it stopped
recording.
It is the first time that I've seen AI roll its eyes after its virtual eyes after we do a show. It's just kind of, PoddiMouths.
Yeah. As soon as we said that, John, did you notice it stopped recording?
Did it really? I didn't. I still show recording.
Yeah, but look at the number of seconds.
It's still going on my end.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It stopped recording on my end. It's recording.
Well, if you can't hear Nick because he stopped recording.
Yeah. Well, it is recording again, but it's telling me to restart the studio. So in that case, folks, we're going to wrap it up here. And maybe, John, do your own little wrap up just in case I have disappeared.
I can do a wrap up and then we'll have to edit through it, which will be great because that'll be your job, not mine.
Right. Let everyone know, just in case, again, they can't hear me right now, that you're actually talking to me.
If you can't hear Nick right now, you're welcome. And he's laughing because I can talk to him and you can't because, well, we had some glitches because
right after we
were in Nashville.
Right after we were talking about really good things with Riverside.
Yes, well, Riverside's not their fault. This is weather related, I'm guessing. Anyway, all that said, we had a great time today. And you know what to do. Go to PoddiMouths.com. He always says, wah, but seriously? And now he's laughing at me too. And make sure you check out our other previous podcasts that we had up there, but also go to the merch store. We've got some cool new stuff. Women's swimming clothes. Was that what they call
It's
them?
that time of year.
Women's swimming clothes. Whatever.
They do now.
Women's
kind of dated you.
Jeez, yeah, we're the 1890s.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're sure glad you're here. We appreciate you and your time. And let us know. Make sure you tell a friend. Get some. We would love to have more people logging in and checking us out and falling asleep. If you enjoyed this, that's great. If you didn't, get your enemies to follow us too. That would be fine. And you know where to find us. YouTube, all the socials, and we appreciate you. And on that note, we'll see you later. Nick, say bye just in case.
Bye just in case.
That's what he says very well. I'm John. He's Nick. See ya.
Bye.